Hello, everybody, and welcome today for the most incredible interview. I am so excited to have this beautiful woman join us today. She has such a story, such a testament to where she is today and where she has been and what this wearable light technology has done for her. So I am not even going to take the floor away from her. And Tammy, I want you to introduce yourself. Let everybody know a little bit about you, where you're from, and give us the snapshot into life, what it was like prior to being introduced to this technology and where you are now. Because I know when I just first met you to now, lady, you look amazing. You look
Thank
totally
you.
different. I mean, it just blows my mind. So, welcome.
Thank you. Well, as you mentioned, I'm Tammy Wilson. I live in Oklahoma. And a little bit about my background is I've had systemic lupus since I was about 30 years old. I'm currently 63 years old. And I've spent the last 18 years of my career in the pharmaceutical industry. Um, but to start off with, as far as my wellness journey, I started off pretty sick. In 2021, I had a pretty bad case of COVID, and um, not knowing at the time, COVID had caused some microvascular blood clots in my lungs and in my brain. But before they discovered that, I was seeing 7 different specialists. Um, I had daily migraines, and these are the type of migraines where you don't have balance, you're nauseous all the time, you're not
Light,
sleeping.
did the light, does light, would light bother you? Like you had to be in a dark
Yes,
room? Okay.
I would walk around in sunglasses in my home.
Oh, wow.
And to add to that, I had some pretty severe cognitive and neurological issues. And when I say cognitive, I mean I couldn't carry on a conversation with someone. I would, I mean, I couldn't think of the words to use.
Wow.
I I just hated to talk, so I would text very short texts to people when I needed to communicate. Um, I also developed cardiovascular issues. I developed pericarditis, and so I had this nonstop chest pressure. And I thought, for my age, I'm probably going to have a heart attack or stroke and die from this.
Wow.
And it was terrible. I mean, I really thought I was entering the end of my life.
Well,
Um,
and not to interrupt you, my apology for doing so, but with you being in the pharmaceutical industry like you were, or
mhm.
you had knowledge of the things to look for, the things that people experience. And here you found yourself now experiencing these things. It's a whole different thing when you started, right? Like you had the
Oh,
knowledge, which
absolutely.
really kind of makes it very intense.
It was very intense, and I
Right.
agree. It's sometimes the more you know, the worse it can be because every little thing I would think, "Oh no, this is going to be it."
Yeah.
um,
Right.
and then to add to that, I had every single joint in my body was inflamed and just terribly painful. It hurt to walk. It hurt to do anything. It hurt to lay down. Um, and then because of everything else going on, I had poor sleep. I went the longest time with not having a decent night of sleep. So I was really a mess. And one of the doctors that I was seeing basically told me that I needed to quit work. I had been on medical leave for 9 months from my pharmaceutical job. And he told me, it's time now that you need to leave your job and you need to go apply for Social Security disability because I don't see your cognitive issues ever improving. And it was still early in COVID. Um, my my symptoms did worsen after I had the vaccination, So I had 2 cases of COVID and then had two vaccinations. So the doctors have kind of mixed ideas on what really caused it, what really caused the microvascular clots. But I was really giving up hope because I thought, I had just turned 60 when all of this was going on. And I thought, I'm not even going to be able to make it to retirement. I'm going to die before then.
Wow.
So um, the future was pretty bleak. Um, After being on numerous drugs and nothing was helping me, um, I actually saw a video one day from one of my friends, Lisa, that I had worked with years ago at Sprint. And, I kind of watched the video a few times, kind of followed her for a couple months. And then finally I thought, I'm at the end of my rope. I have nothing else that's going to give me hope. So why not try this? So I called her and said, you know what? I think I want to give this a try. I was very skeptical, but at that point, I didn't know what else to do.
Right. Right.
And
Before you go on, let me ask you a couple questions because I want our viewers to really be able to walk this road with you. So even though you were on medical leave for 9 months, obviously this started happening prior to you making or taking leave.
yes,
So till you got to this point, how long did you experience all these symptoms before you saw Lisa talking about this wearable light technology?
I want to say it was 2 years.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you for that. Okay, go ahead. So, Lisa, your friend, I love this.
Yes, yes. So I saw Lisa's video, thought I'd give it a try. I reached out to her and said, "Hey, can you tell me a little bit more about this?" And I ended up buying a several month supply because I thought, you know what, I need to be all in on this.
Yeah.
I can't just buy like 1 month. I mean, I need to be all in. So,
Well, you can't have something for 2 years and expect 30 days of, right? Even the pharmaceutical industry, you don't get a Z pack of 7 days and only take it for two, right? So,
absolutely,
right. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
absolutely. So it was interesting because I received the patches and I left my box sitting on my kitchen counter for a few days because I still was just hesitant. And it's mainly because nothing had worked for me up until that point. And I had a guest in town and we sat down to have some coffee and I had a migraine kind of starting. I could feel it kind of coming up the back of my neck. And so, I told my friend Susan, who was here visiting, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to try these patches. And grabbed them out. She's really curious looking through all the materials in the box while I'm putting the patches on. And we're sitting there drinking coffee and chatting. And about 5 minutes after I put that patch on, I kid you not, Laura, I could feel this weird tingling sensation going up the back of my neck. And within 15 minutes, the headache was gone. It was unreal. It was unreal. That night, I went on to have the best sleep I had had in years. I mean, like, even before I had COVID, I didn't even realize I was sleeping poorly until I actually had a good night's sleep.
Right.
Um, and it's kind of interesting. My friend Susan, who actually witnessed this whole thing, said, "I don't know what this is, but you need to sign me up for this. I need to get this myself." So uh, we both started patching about the same time. Um, so after that, about a month later, my joint inflammation was totally gone. I had gone in to see my rheumatologist, and she's pushing on my joints. And she said, "You have no inflammation." And I said, "I know, it's crazy." And she said, "What are you doing differently?" And I showed her the patch on my neck. And she said, if it's working for you, you've got to keep doing that, girl.
Yep.
And so that was one of the first big things that I saw was my joint pain and inflammation was gone within that first month.
Well, and it's funny you should say that, because when you see pictures of yourself, you can see the inflammation that you had in your
Yes.
body. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, that when your eyes are puffy or your face is puffy or things, we're thinking it's all other things. Oh, I ate too much salt in my diet last night. Oh, I didn't sleep well enough. That's why my eyes are puffy. And it's really a lot of the times because of the level of inflammation that we have in our bodies. And that in itself takes care of so much of the pain that I think a lot of people can be experiencing. And you had that firsthand.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So it didn't stop there when it came to me getting better, because within a few months, all of the pain I was getting in my chest from having pericarditis stopped. It was just
Oh,
like someone
wow.
flipped a switch. Um, I, of course, my migraines, which I had had daily for the longest time, they didn't stop immediately. That day, it did stop immediately, but over that period of a couple months, they were getting less frequent and less severe. And by month 3, totally stopped.
Wow. Wow.
Um, Gosh, I'm trying to think. I'd also had problems with breathing, and I do have what they classified as a mild intermittent asthma before I contracted COVID, and it became to the point where it was really severe. They tried biologics on me, which I almost went into anaphylaxis with the
Oh my
biologic
gosh.
that they gave me. It was crazy, but I didn't have a good reaction to that. But it's interesting because things started improving with my breathing. And I got to the point where I was starting to be able to walk my dog 3 to 4 miles a day and with no problems at all with breathing.
Wow.
Um, so I'm trying to think of what else.
It's funny
Really,
because, when we first started talking just a bit ago, there was this, I had all these things going on. I had all these symptoms going on. And isn't it beautiful now that you've walked through that, you've, you've had relief. Here you are now able to do things, and some things that really you weren't able to do even before you had the COVID, right? So we're noticing things that weren't even present in our mind. And don't you find, Tammy, that people become very accustomed to their new normal? Like, you
absolutely.
kind of accept the way things are, and that's my new normal because that's what everybody keeps telling me, because that's what's supposed to be happening to me now. And even those things which weren't on the top of your list, you've got change in those now as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You
that's
know,
amazing.
and the great thing is that every month that I've been on the patches, I noticed something different that has changed. My skin has changed a lot. I used to have these little funny things, and I don't remember what the dermatologist called them, but they just started disappearing. They just
Were they like
started.
little precancerous type things?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and
Wow.
I used to have a few on my forehead, and they're gone. Um, my vision seems to be getting better. I can actually read without my contact lenses in. Of course, it's not totally healed, but my vision is better.
Sure.
Um, I mean, just so many things, so many things. I actually had a total hip replacement many years ago, and I actually had nerve damage in my leg from the hip replacement, and that is healing. I mean, I couldn't believe it that I'm actually getting that. Like I get little tinglies in that area
Like
where
that feeling is coming back where before it just wasn't there. Wow.
Yes, and the doctor basically said that is nerves reconnecting.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So tell us now, if you were to take a snapshot, a picture of your life now, how would you describe it?
Blessed. It is amazing. I wake up every day feeling great. Um, I can do what I want to do. If, some days I'll go on a 7-mile walk with my dog and no problems. I mean, for a 63-year-old, I think I'm not doing too bad.
I think you're doing amazing. And with me sitting next to you, even though we're not in the same state, I'm sitting here and we're on the screen together. You're 63, I'm 62. You've been patching now in all lessons for how long?
20 months.
Okay, 20 months. I will have been patching, and I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud. It'll be 4 years in May.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
let's just say 3.5. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say 3.5. And I know our viewers or people that are going to come back and watch the replay, we keep on saying the word patch. And I want everyone on here to understand something. And especially with you being in the pharmaceutical industry, I think this is a great thing to focus in on is a lot of people, as you know, and you probably even saw them in your industry, are very familiar with patches, but they're transdermal patches, correct? They're patches that
Correct.
have a substance or an herb or a solution of some type, chemical in some type, that when you put the patch on the skin, whatever's on that patch is going to enter the body and hopefully go to work doing the things that it's meant to do. And in the cases of some of that, being in the industry, that can cause interactions or contradiction in some pharmaceuticals that somebody might be taking. I want to explain to everybody here, because we do have this representative with us, that the patch that Tammy keeps speaking of is this patch about the size of a quarter. And if you want more information, I want you to reach out to us. But what I want to share with you that I think is really top of the heap here is that this patch is non-transdermal, meaning nothing is going in your skin. So if there is people who are using pharmaceuticals or other modalities or health tools to live whole and well, there's no contraindication to any of those things that you might be doing. So I want you to know that you can use this too and keep doing all the other things that you do. So, Tammy, with that said, talk about the pharmaceuticals that you were on. Talk about the pharmaceuticals that you were on, and now that you use this wearable light technology, where are you with that?
So I've had quite a few drugs that have been discontinued. I was on colchicine for pericarditis, and I'm definitely not taking that anymore. I used to take 2 blood pressure pills. I'm now down to 1 at a lower dose.
Beautiful.
I used to take 2 thyroid medications. I'm now down to 1 at a reduced dose. Oh my goodness. I used to be on steroids to reduce my inflammation. I haven't taken those since I started the patches. Um, oh my goodness. Wow. I used to take a biologic
Okay.
for for migraines. I'm not on the biologic anymore.
How often are you getting migraines now? Or how often should I say you're not getting them anymore?
So I want to say in the last year, I've had 1 migraine that was kind of a tough one, and then 1 other that I needed to take medication for. Other than that, I'm not getting them. So 2 in a year
Versus what?
versus daily.
Wow.
I would have migraines that would last 20 days.
Seriously?
It was
20
unreal,
days?
but it was mainly because of the blood clots. At
Oh,
least according to the neurologist, it was
right.
from the microvascular clotting, and of course they didn't know it at the time, but things are better.
I love that. And I think the biggest takeaway here, and if you want to reflect on this, that would be great, is that there are answers. Even sometimes when you think there's not an answer, there is. You just have to take the time to find it, right?
Mhm.
And there you were just perusing one day, and there was an answer that you never expected. And so I know that you feel amazing. And I tell you, I wish we had a before and after picture of you, but trust me, everybody, it is the most amazing picture ever. Like, I can tell you this woman has had no work. I mean, you look beautiful. I have had no work.
Thank you.
It we're literally taking the body and giving it the opportunity to get back to the root of the problem. Are we not? Giving it the opportunity to use this technology as a tool to help the body repair, restore, and regenerate, right?
Absolutely.
I can't thank you enough. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know we put this together very quickly. I have to tell y'all, I text Tammy, what was it last night, 10:30, and I said, I'm dying to interview you, please. And we put this together very, very quickly. I happen to be in a whiteout up in the mountains of West Virginia at a ski resort, and she is in her home. And so, Tammy, I am so blessed and feel very fortunate that you said yes, but also to know you, because I know that you've taken this very much to heart and very serious. And now you're letting people know that they have options. And I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Hopefully it
so much.
helps.
I hope it
Thank you.
helps too. And if anybody would like to talk to Tammy personally, a little bit more in depth about what she went through, the things that she did, you heard a little bit today, but I know she has so much more that she can offer. Or if you have questions for myself, please reach out to me. I will definitely connect you to Tammy. Happy to help you in any way that we both can. And we just hope everybody has a safe rest of the week into your weekend. And Tammy, again, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.